What's going on, everybody? My name's Dallas, and this is the podcast where we talk about food in and around Victoria, British Columbia. And in today's case, we're also talking about helping the community. And I'm here at Red Cedar Cafe right now, which some people might know is the former Willie's bakery location. But I'm here with Landon and Thalia. How you doing?
Yeah, pretty good. You?
Doing well.
Good, thanks.
You know, when I started doing these podcasts, this is the kind of stuff that I really wanted to get into as I was doing these, to bring sort of awareness to things around the city that others might not know about, and people doing good stuff. And I'm really excited to sort of get into what's going on here because it's really special, and I'm excited for more people to find out about it. So for people who aren't familiar with the Red Cedar, maybe just let people know what this is, what's going on.
The lead on that one.
So we run a food distribution center for 2.5 days of each week. It consists of almost 250 volunteers that are signed up, coming in for shifts and prepping food, cooking food, freezing food, and then sending it out to people in need. That's organized via a website, and they order their food through that, and then we deliver it to their door, thanks to volunteers. So the rest of the time, this space operates as a fully functioning restaurant, and any of the money that doesn't go towards paying for food or staff goes towards going back into that food distribution program.
Yeah, that's absolutely amazing. So I didn't realize it's 2.5 days a week.
Yeah, so it's been more than that. It's been a few different things in the last few months, but that's what we've got it streamlined down to at the moment.
Yeah, we scaled it back to 2.5 days.
Because what were you doing before? How much was it?
Probably 4 days.
Okay. And go ahead.
Originally, we actually used to do 2 delivery days too, which we realized with frozen food just isn't necessary anymore. We can do it down to 1. But it's been, a trial and error for a few months.
I guess it is kind of like an ongoing, just as things, you get better as you get more information, right?
Yeah.
The more you do something.
Yeah, we're able to, we were able to tweak things. We've pretty much, for the free program, kind of streamlined everything. Not to say that we don't still get donations and stuff like that throughout the week, but those 2.5 days, the Sunday is actually a blitz, because we have a busy kind of brunch service. Right after that, we've got people prepping salads, and then we've got a distribution team. They're packing all the frozen meals. We've got drivers coming up and people doing pickups. So it's an event.
And most of these people are volunteer?
Yeah, so we have, I want to say around 10 staff, paid staff right now. It could be a little bit less than that, but we also have the majority of anyone in here is volunteer. So 250 volunteers receive our emails each week and sign up for shifts. And then we typically have 30 shifts a week that are filled by people who are volunteering.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
And it just this did not exist before April, right?
No, April was the beginning.
This is when it opened.
Yeah, we're brand new.
Yeah.
This is so crazy to me. And the name Red Cedar, what is the significance of the name?
Yeah, Ben Isett is the sort of origins of the name, and he's got sort of the idea of that for 20 years or so has been his, and it's definitely based on the West Coast and where the tree is growing well,
okay,
and being protected, and I can't speak enough to that, so ask him.
Okay. And so how did this whole thing start? What was how long did it take for this idea to become Red Cedar?
I mean, I wasn't here at the beginning. I think, Thalia, you were more...
Yeah, I think Ben really pounced on the idea right from the beginning when he found that this space was going to be available and for free. And it all just kind of fell into place from there. He has a lot of contacts, so that was a lot of how things worked. He just knew people on the ground and got in touch with them. He was doing walks to grocery stores and counting how many places and how many shelves were out of bread in April. So yeah, he saw a need for something and he's just great at filling it, basically. So he realized that this place was free and he just started getting things going.
So how did the free part come into play?
Yeah, so Trees was in here before. They had a kind of a restaurant. I guess their lease... I'm actually not exactly 100% sure.
So they broke their lease contract.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then they still had it for a couple of months following, and they were in touch with Ben about us using the space. So,
oh, really?
Yeah. So it was
was kind of organic,
combined.
I guess.
Yeah, organic thing that just happened.
That's really cool that was able to happen. I did come to Trees before it closed, and I really enjoyed the meal that I had here. And then prior to that, Willie's, when it was Willie's.
Right.
I think that was one of the last radio segments that Mike and I did, was coming in and talk to W. Dale here and hearing all the plans he had for the space, sort of in the middle of last year, getting towards that area.
Right.
And they closed down, and it's just sort of been revolving. But I'm stoked to see that you guys are in here now.
Yeah, we were actually able to absorb some of the Tree staff, Thalia being one of them.
Yeah, I actually worked here as Trees and was sort of brought into this project completely separately from the fact that I worked in the restaurant here before. But since have brought in a few people that I worked with at Trees, because I knew that they were great. I knew that they had lost their jobs due to COVID and the restaurant shutting down. And I knew that they were available and looking for work. And so they actually came in and volunteered. Two of our staff previous, Tori and Megan, volunteered a lot of their time before we actually hired them on as a cook and a server.
Okay. And maybe what are your roles in the space here?
Yeah. Initially, I came in volunteer based. Kind of helping out the free program. That's kind of what all was running at the time, helping out in the kitchen. And then I took over the lead of the kitchen at one point, and then just expanded from there. Now I kind of oversee the operation of the free program, and I help oversee the operation of the restaurant.
Okay.
As like a general manager.
Awesome.
Yeah, so I was involved since the beginning of May. My girlfriend Liz yanked me in here, and we just started making shepherd's pies by the 100, and it was not something I had much experience in, so it was hectic, and we were super thankful for bringing some trained chefs in really closely after that. And I've since become part of a board that we formed to sort of oversee everything that's going on here. I also volunteer my time as restaurant assistant manager, I would say, and sometimes serve and basically fill in gaps that need to be filled in at the moment.
Awesome. And do you have like a history in the back or history in restaurants like previously?
I do, yeah. I've been cooking for about 20 years. So I started based out in Peninsula and all around Victoria. Just recently got back from Europe for 4 years there, and then I just got back just at the start of the pandemic, actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And so where were you in Europe?
I started in Switzerland. I was in Germany for a couple of years, and then Copenhagen.
Okay.
To finish off, yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, mostly kind of like Michelin star restaurants, actually.
Okay, so you get to see that whole side of everything.
Yeah.
Which must be a totally different world.
It was, yeah. But I mean, to tell you the truth, the basis and organization, it's all the same, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Awesome. And then, so your history in the industry?
Yeah, so I started hosting when I was 14 and have just kind of never left the restaurant industry. I moved down to Victoria about 7 years ago and have worked at a few different restaurants around town, the Breakwater and Rebar right now. I've been there for over a year.
And so in the space here, how many meals get put out every single week?
Yeah, so average a week, what we're doing for distribution.
Yeah.
It's around 11 to 1,200 meals that we're producing. The majority is going out to this meal order program. And then another large part of it is going to community centers. And then we also have, which is a Lyon group. And they've got more of a contact or a relationship with the unhoused. So we serve kind of hand off hot food to them, and they distribute it to the community. Their
acronym stands for the Lived and Living Experience of Homelessness Network. So they have direct contact with people. They have friends who are on the streets right now. So that's how we kind of work with them to distribute that food.
That's awesome. So you're making sure it's getting to the people that really need it.
Yeah.
And you said there's 250 volunteers that volunteer here.
Yeah.
In rotation, yeah.
Yeah, not all at the same
not
time.
all at the same time.
Yeah, that would be a lot.
Does that keep growing, like the number?
Yeah, so in April it was 100 when I first joined. Yeah.
So you're finding then that as more people find out about here, they just want to help and do what they can?
It grows. I mean, we can always use more, but as the pandemic's kind of slowing down, people are going kind of back to work and students are going back to school. We're always looking for people, so always putting the word out.
But
For
it's
sure.
been really cool. Like sometimes we'll have people just walking by and just see like the energy that's in the space, and they just have come in and signed up. And like our volunteer coordinator literally just walked by and saw what we were doing a few months ago and has just been involved in the project ever since. So
That's one thing I was wondering, because when I came in and ate the one meal that I've had here in the restaurant, which I loved, by the way, there was a table outside with a bunch of like food on it, just out in the street. Is that there for people to come by and to sort of take it if they need it?
Exactly. We get a lot of bread and different donations in. Sometimes we're unable to push it all out through our distribution, so we'll just kind of hand it out to people around the community around here, and then if people are able to, ask for a donation in the restaurant. If not, they're free to take it.
that part's been really cool, actually, just seeing like people's bewilderment on their face when they can understand that food that is just there for them
Yeah,
and take it if they need it, I think. And yeah, we get a ton of bread. So
that's awesome. And do you find people are really good about only taking if they need it?
yeah.
I
Yeah.
believe so. Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. And just I can imagine that look of bewilderment. It must be a cool feeling to know that you're helping people, and
Yeah.
just seeing that shock on their face.
I think there's been quite a bit of grateful people coming by and like just kind of like opening the door and thanking us, and people
Yeah.
are pretty stoked about the.
Especially having the restaurant open. Like even yesterday I was or 2 days ago I was serving and had someone just come in and thank me in a wheelchair and thank me so much for what we've been doing here, and just say that he loves it. And it's just like, yeah, it's been really cool.
That's absolutely incredible. And how many dishes do you have like for the restaurant side, like on a weekend? Is the menu change, or is it always the same?
It's during the week we've got like a weekday menu, and it's probably about I think 4 mains, and then we've got 3 or 4 desserts,
Okay.
and then we on the weekend we're doing a brunch menu actually.
Yeah.
So it's about the same.
So what days is the restaurant open?
We're opened Wednesday to Friday from 10 to 2. Sorry, 10 to 8. And then, on the weekends, we're open from 9 to 2.
Okay. And I got to say too, when I came in, I had the pancakes and the fried chicken.
Yeah.
And that was absolutely amazing.
Yeah, you like that?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, great.
That's still on the weekend menu, right?
It is, definitely. And weekend and weekday, we serve it as a sandwich too.
Oh, it's a sandwich.
Yeah.
Oh, so that's another. I got to try that too.
A little crossover. Yeah, it's great.
And so, do you have features that are only available? Like maybe a weekend you'll do one dish that's only that weekend?
Yeah, sometimes we do specials during the week, generally on Thursday, Fridays.
Okay.
Yeah.
And with the space here, you mentioned there's a board now.
Mhm.
What's the challenge? Has there been challenges with running the space?
Yeah, I think every project like this is going to have its challenges. Like we just flew. We just grew so fast, so quickly. So everyone's been trying to navigate what that looks like for everyone else. Currently, the space we have until the end of October, and we're unsure of its longevity after that. We might have it for another month or so, but it's definitely not solidified at the moment. So there's been issues, like obviously with space, with not knowing what things are going to look like. Obviously, we intend to exist somewhere else at some point to keep the food program going. So we're also like looking at other spaces right now.
Okay.
So that in itself has been a huge one.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely like just having a few different people involved has always had its issues. But I think like the majority of us, well, everyone wants to do the same thing here. Like the goal of it is all the same, to feed people that are in need right now. So,
And the energy overall, you mentioned that when people walk by or whatever, they see the energy that's in here
yeah.
and just the positivity.
I think you can feel it in the restaurant, especially when the volunteers here. And I think it's a great kind of atmosphere we try to provide. Play music loud, try to get everyone to smile, have a good time. Most of the time, yeah.
I think what's been, I definitely noticed like some seniors and new people to Victoria were volunteering, and they were like sort of developing relationships and connections. I've dragged all my girlfriends down here, and they've all said that they've left with like phone numbers and connections with people in the community, which I think is really neat too.
And do you have an item here that sort of seems to be the most popular, or something that stands out?
That we're serving for the restaurant?
For the restaurant, yeah.
I mean, I would say my favorite is, what you had is the fried chicken and pancakes for sure.
Yeah.
But I think we make a pretty mean fried mushroom sandwich.
It's
like
delicious.
really?
Yeah. King oyster. I've never even had those before.
Yeah.
So good.
So it changed your life?
Yeah, honestly.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And it's vegan. Yeah.
And the preserved lemon tahini dressing.
Ooh,
Big fan. Yeah.
that's
so
awesome. And so for the free program, that people sign up through the website for that?
Yeah, they're able to order online if you go to redcedarcafe.ca. Right?
Yeah.
And that is a pay if you can or pay what you can, right? It's
Exactly.
not just free for everyone to just come and take what you want. But
it is free. Like the original notion of it was that it is free, and so anyone who doesn't feel they have funding for it right
Of
now
course.
is yeah.
So it's kind of like
if you're
this
able to
table
donate,
outside.
if you're able to give money, that's great. Yeah.
yeah. And do you have people that sort of come in and don't take anything and just give you money? Is that something people do?
Yeah, sometimes. Generally, the orders are done online and then they are sent out. But yeah, there is for sure people that come in and even through the week, we try to give them something to take away if they're not able to eat something, or grab something for themselves. But people are pretty generous, and we've had lots of individual and donors, and then also a lot of community support with that too.
And there is a GoFundMe up right now, right?
There is.
Okay. And so where can people go to that?
Yeah, if you search the Red Cedar, you can find
On
it there.
GoFundMe?
Yeah.
And that's just up so people can help with the cost of what you guys are doing.
Yeah, and that helps us run this operation. Yeah, all the fixed costs. And
And so right now you said that like it's till the end of October for right now,
Yeah.
but hopefully longer.
Yeah, we see each other. We see ourselves being in a space running this project longer. We're just unsure about which one for the moment.
yeah, there's some prospects, but nothing's concrete.
Have you, through being in here, have you met any people or heard any like just incredible stories that stand out in your eyes?
I mean, in a culinary, I kind of have like a disconnect between the people receiving the food,
Yeah.
and cooking the food. But we generally get a few emails about people that have received the food that aren't able to provide for themselves. That's really helped them. They're either like looking after someone else or unable to feed themselves. And we get the odd, or we get actually quite a few emails back saying how much it's appreciated. I wouldn't say there's like one outstanding story, but I think as a whole, just like a really great.
I remember there was a woman who used to come down here who was in her 80s. Do you remember? I don't want to say her name, but I don't know if you remember her. She used to walk down the street with a bag, and there's a few people that we help that don't have access to a computer, or don't know how to use one. So you can also call your order in. Sometimes things are just tricky. So she would walk with her bag down every week, and we would just like run and grab whatever she liked, we knew, and just get like, she was just so thankful. And she had a partner who was back at her place, and she felt very like unsafe to be kind of going to the grocery store or interacting with too many people at that time. I think that would be one that's standing out because she was just so sweet. She was just like a really lovely woman.
One thing I like to ask people too is like, what does it feel like to know that like what you're doing is now incorporated into someone's life? Like I assume there's people that look forward to coming and seeing you guys and eating the food here and all of that. I'm just curious what that feels like for you guys.
Yeah. I don't know. I guess it hasn't really like rung in. I came in during the pandemic because, well, I just came back and there wasn't so much to do, I guess. And yeah, I wanted to help out. I guess when I read those kind of comments, it feels good overall. But I guess I've just been putting my head down and just kind of working. That's kind of what I enjoy, and it's like just the benefit that it's helping other people.
Yeah, I guess you kind of have to do that, right? Just put your head down and just go for it.
Exactly.
And how many meals do you think you guys have given out, or do you have a count of like all time how many you've done?
I should have gotten that, but I don't. I know it's over 10,000 now. It's
Really?
probably around, I'd say it's between 10 and 15,000 at the moment.
That's so crazy. So like
probably closer to 15 actually.
So like on it, because I was here on a Sunday, and I think that was the day that everyone was getting in there and sort of prepping for that day.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like because you said it was about like 1,200 meals in a day or something, right?
Yeah. And I mean, there's a lot of gears that go on. Like I said, on those Sundays, we have like all the teams here. So there's actually like a distribution team, and they're counting and filling all the orders in. And pretty much this back room here is just filled with bags of orders for going out, and people are either like coming up and grabbing them, or they're drivers coming up and taking them away. We've kind of like sectioned all of Victoria out in quadrants. So there's about 5 or 7 distribution team just packing within an hour. Was it like 3 or 4 hours? Yeah.
Really?
And then all these drivers are pulling up. It's actually kind of cool to see all this energy and like all this things coming together, and I guess like shooting out of the
Cogs.
the cafe. Yeah, all the cogs going
How
at
many
once.
hours does it take to do that many meals?
Like producing them?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we do it. We've streamlined it now.
So much, yeah.
I think, what were you guys doing originally? Maybe,
How many hours?
No, like how many meals?
When we started, we sent out 300 meals.
Yeah.
Okay.
Vegetarian and meat shepherd's pies.
Yeah, and it's it was a
that
lot
was
of
like an entire day process.
people from the hospitality, but
Yeah.
mostly like servers and
Mostly the
bartenders
front
and
of
stuff like
house,
that.
yeah.
So was it just shepherd's pie and then a vegetarian option at the start?
Yes, and then we were running pop-ups here as well, so we were incorporating those back into the food distribution program as well. So we would have like a chef volunteer their time for a night and come in and just sell one item, maybe 2, maybe a vegetarian option, and people would just come off the street and get takeout, and then anything that we didn't sell that night for a donation, which is how we were offering it originally, would go get frozen, and then it would also be sent out. So that was like an option for a meal. So it was a limited menu, but it was a couple of items. Yeah.
And then so now, like with the meals that go out, how many different options are there that people receive? Do people get a choice?
They do, yeah. If you go online, there's usually about 5 to 6 options, even coffee being one of them. We get coffee donated. We actually get a lot of donations from grocery stores, different purveyors. Bows and Arrows don't.
Bows and Arrows, Drew, the owner, is amazing and has been involved with donating the coffee for months now. And he's just so lovely. And it's incredible that he's been doing that.
That's awesome. I was going to ask if there's people you want to give a shout out to, like companies or businesses.
Definitely him. Yeah, he's incredible.
I mean, there's so many. I think we just got to drop out off
we
the
did.
front door.
We literally just got to drop off out there.
Windset Farm. We get a lot from Fairways, Safeway, Thrifty Foods.
Yeah.
Topsoil donates to us. A lot of different farms. Star, can't remember something. Farm out in the peninsula. We should have a list actually.
Victoria at Survival Botanicals, she donated a range of teas for us, and that's what we sell at the restaurant now. So that's been great. She's a very small business run online, so it's really incredible that she would reach out and donate tea like that for us.
That's awesome.
Great. Yeah.
And so initially you said there was 100 people that were volunteering at the very start. What about the core people when it first started? Mm-hmm. How many people was there when this idea first came up?
You're in it, right?
So Harrison has actually been involved from the very beginning. So Ben Ice at Harrison, Ben had another friend of his who was a chef, so she was involved as well. It's really been a bit of a rotating door, just based on how many people have how much time to give with this project, because it does take a lot and it requires a lot. And sometimes people have to kind of step back and be like, I don't have enough time to give anymore. Work's going back, or so and so. So it's been rotating, but I was kind of 4 or 5 key people, I guess I would say. Eric Nordal was also in it from the very beginning, helping with the pop-ups. And he was friends with Harrison, who's sadly passed away since our operation was going.
I wanted to touch on that because I never got to meet him. But I did go to Hernandez when he used to be in the strip mall several years ago, and I really enjoyed it. And I wanted to touch on that and to see if you could speak about him, because I never got to meet him. But I've heard he was an awesome guy.
I mean, the quality of a great chef is a philosophy behind the food, I would say. And his philosophy was full on. I mean, he had so much ideology behind food, and just having him sit and talk about the project and it going forward, he had a lot of suggestions and excitement about it. but yeah, you could see he was still really passionate about the industry and cooking.
I think one of the best parts that have come from my summer and being involved with the cafe has been getting to meet him and his daughter and just see like their enthusiasm for life. And I'm big into art and art history myself, and we really connected over that. He was huge into music. He just had this like joy about everything that he touched, and cooking was like his art form. It was phenomenal. I remember Liz and him just like dancing away to salsa in the kitchen one night, like when he was making tortillas. He was just he was a great person.
That's awesome. It's amazing when you meet certain people that have that type of energy where it's just infectious.
Yeah, definitely.
And they like meeting this person now changes your life. That's special. That's very special.
And he's almost integrated, like his whole family is almost integrated into this entire project, actually.
Yeah, his daughter actually works here now as a server, and she's also fantastic.
Yeah,
so.
and his son was helping out. He actually helps the Leon group, sending out food, and his wife too has been involved in the operation.
Rest in peace. One question I had about transitioning to be a restaurant. How is that gone? Because you said at the start you were doing pop-ups. But then was it always sort of a goal to sort of transition to being like a normal restaurant and not just doing sort of the takeout?
I think, yeah.
Or the meals sent out?
I think at the beginning we just didn't know what COVID was going to look like. I don't think anyone did. So it's all been kind of playing that by ear too, which I think everyone is dealing with this summer. So suddenly we're allowed to have people in the restaurant, and okay, we'll have people inside, and suddenly like we don't have to worry too much about takeout. Okay, we'll transition to having a menu, I think was part of it. Also like losing Harrison, who was like one of our solid pop-up chefs, and losing like a couple of people went on holidays for the summer, and just kind of trying to reorganize what made sense for moving forward was sort of what pushed us into transitioning to a regular restaurant too.
But it wasn't easy starting a restaurant during
definitely
COVID.
not.
Of course not. No, and then trying to like do it. It sounds like just sort of adjusting on the fly and not really having a clear understanding of what you can do, or you know what I mean. It doesn't. Is it fair to say that things aren't necessarily clear all the time?
Yeah,
and it's just kind of you're just going for it.
Pretty much. I would say like the pop-ups were running at a good speed. I think they were pretty popular, but it was kind of sporadic when people had time. And then transitioning to like a full-on restaurant, I think it was a risk, but we had this beautiful space and some really cool people involved in the project. So I think we said, why not?
So are both rooms open for the dine-in?
At the moment, we're just using the space we're in right now, and the other space, we're kind of holding it back at the moment.
Okay.
There's like 7 deep freezes back there too. So we've been trying to sort of decide on how that would look running a restaurant operation.
I didn't even look in there.
Yeah.
I forgot that's sort of the production area, right?
Yeah. A little bit chaotic at times.
Yeah.
And we're just not sure, how people would feel about dining with freezers, but they're all back there right now, keeping the food frozen. So
people might be into it though.
They might
Different
be.
experience.
Yeah.
Why not? One thing I've always wondered about this building is the downstairs, the basement. What's it like down there?
Okay.
Because like walking outside, like there's the purple glass on the sidewalk.
Yeah, there's always kind of like a light shining through.
Yeah.
Thank God for that.
Yeah. It's definitely like an old building, like, super historic. I think there's been like a lot of like remodeling. I've definitely looked at old photos of Willie's and what trees have done. And I think there was like a kind of like a pony wall in with like booths in when Willie's was here. Yeah. The basement, I mean, I guess is what,
like.
I guess that's what you would expect a basement to be.
There's a lot of room down there though.
There is.
Storage,
And then,
nice.
That's where kind of like our walk-in and kind of like our backup pantry is for sure.
Okay.
And more freezers.
Yeah.
More freezers.
Yeah, there's about like 10 or 15 freezers.
We've gone through freezers, like we've maxed them out, we've got them donated. It's all about running freezers here.
And they're all filled with the food.
Yeah.
Yeah, most of them. Yeah, I think the restaurant has one.
Or bread.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm curious about the downstairs. I think because I went and did the underground tour in Seattle.
Okay.
Which is like one of the coolest things that I've ever seen in Seattle. It was amazing. Just learning how the city originally used to be like 20 or 30 feet lower than it is now the downtown.
Right.
And now there's still like storefronts down there.
Okay.
So I'm intrigued by different things, and that's why I was curious about downstairs.
Yeah, I mean, we can take a tour later. But, I haven't seen anything significant, but maybe I just don't know what I'm looking for.
No, I'm sure there's not. I was just getting flashbacks because of the glass.
Okay.
Because when we were there, they actually took us underneath this intersection,
Right.
and they're like the street's right up above us, and they turned the lights off downstairs so that the sunlight was coming through.
Okay.
But then they took us up on the street and showed us like, you're directly above where you were before.
Yeah.
So we got to see it from both sides.
Yeah, no way.
Yeah, that's
Which was
really
cool.
neat.
Yeah.
I wonder if Victoria's old enough to have that kind of a history.
Definitely. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know the specifics. I do know that, I mean, it was before like there was like electricity.
Yeah.
Right.
So that's how they got the light downstairs.
Okay.
That's what the glass is for.
No way.
Yeah.
Right.
That's how they lit it up downstairs.
Yeah, maybe some tunnels running back and forth like Freemasons, kind of like running around. Maybe.
How's COVID been for you guys?
I mean, for the free program, actually, it worked out really well because there was a lot of people involved in the program. In that terms, for sure.
A lot of people that were on CERB and had a lot of time to volunteer, definitely, to donate.
But it's for the restaurant, it's been difficult taking people back. They're either on kind of like a CERB or like a student, so they're only able to work a certain amount. The amount of foot traffic coming by, the amount of people that we can take in here, and like we've had to reduce the amount, obviously, of the tables in here. Yeah, we take it pretty seriously, and I mean, when we opened, we had to go through like a COVID protocol.
Just like everyone else.
With VIHA, yeah. But opening during the pandemic, was difficult.
Yeah, like to actually open after the thing had started here.
Yeah,
which is crazy. Yeah, and I've been taking COVID pretty serious, like very serious. I would say more so than some of my friends.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think it's important. So I appreciate seeing what you guys have done here. When I came and ate here, I felt safe. It was great.
Yeah, good.
Nice.
Yeah. No, I really appreciated the visit. Is there anything we haven't touched on about the space?
I don't know. I mean, I guess people just have to kind of come down and check it out. I mean, either on the free program to see what we're kind of all about and producing all the food and kind of having that connection, or checking out the restaurant. And people are actually, when they dine in, are able to actually donate a meal or donate money if they're wanting to on top of their bill to help the program and help feed people in need.
Yeah, I just think voting with your dollar is really important right now. 2020 has sort of amplified that so much more, and this is like the best way to do that. Come in and eat somewhere out for a day for a special event, but also
or drink.
something.
I mean, we're licensed. Yeah,
that is also
that's true.
A thing,
You got a bunch of stuff up on the board right there.
That's right. Yeah.
And who does the kombucha?
Salt Spring Island. Yeah, they actually
Okay.
donated a keg originally. It was fantastic. Yeah, they're also a great company.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, the guys. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
I really appreciate the work that you guys are putting in, and everyone in this space. This is, I can imagine it's touched a lot of people, and it's really important, in 2020, that there are people willing to put in the work like this and help others.
Well,
So
thanks for coming down and interviewing us.
Yeah,
'cause we
thank
just
you.
want to get
Yeah.
the word out more.
Shedding a little light on this.
Yeah.
of course, and if people want to go check things out, what's the website where they can go?
RedCedarCafe.ca.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then if they want to do the GoFundMe, that's on.
Yeah, search Red Cedar Cafe.
Okay. Awesome.
Keep
Thank-
the lights on at Red Cedar Cafe. That's what it's called.
Everyone needs to help keep the lights on.
Yeah.
Okay. So thank you for listening, everybody.
Sure.
If you're looking for what I'm doing, go to VicFoodGuys.ca and you'll find everything I'm doing there. So I'll see you guys next Tuesday.
Yeah.
Bye.